folks, before we kick things off, just want to take a moment and talk about Skunk Fest. This year, we actually have 2 different cities and 3 weekends. So, if you go to skunkfestatx.com, you'll be able to check out the lineups, the dates, and locations. First on the list is San Antonio, Texas, August 21st at Fitzgerald's. Then, right after that, August 26th and 27th at Come and Take It Live here in Austin, Texas. And then a second weekend here in Austin at Empire Control Room on September 5th. Like I mentioned, if you'd like some more information on the lineup, locations, go to skunkfestatx.com. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast with Skunk and Vic. On today's podcast, we talk with Mr. Aaron Wall of the band Redbeard Walls. Formed in 2016 on the dry, windswept plains of West Texas. Aaron and his band have a hyper-focus on heavy, very hooky, and straight-to-the-point songs. Redbeard Wall delivers riffs with devastatingly heavy tones, vocal melodies that soar, alongside blistering screams of disillusionment. Influenced by sounds of bands such as Helmet, Cavity, Snapcase, and Nirvana, Aaron takes the time to sit down with us to talk about his music, his artwork, and many other things. Be sure and check out Aaron and his band Redbeard Wall at Skunk Fest, second weekend, September 5th at Empire Control Room.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Eclectic Soundtrax, number 53 with Skunk Manhattan and Victor Ramos. Tonight, our guest is Aaron Wall, assuming it's night that you're listening. That was the most professional intro I've done yet, Vic. Would you agree?
Yes. Excellent.
Right. I probably got the number of the episode wrong, but it was professional sounding.
Oh, we can just mix around the episodes. That's all right.
Yeah, well, we're like both clearly post-editing masters at this point from dealing with all of our fucking mistakes. But yeah, dude, how are you, Aaron? Good to see you, man.
Doing wonderful, man. Thanks for having me, brother.
Absolutely. Now, you have a new record that just came out, or is it about to? Well, it's going to be out by the time this podcast comes out. But what is the official release date?
July 2nd.
Oh, okay, okay.
Just the first single, the first song of the year came out yesterday. The
cool.
Teaser. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, now my previous 2 records were on Argonauta Records, and I decided to go with Desert Records this time. So just a new label, new record, nothing crazy, just keeping it moving, man. Yeah. So the single, okay, good. Yeah. Cause first of all, you have amazing artwork. And your promotion is fantastic. You're always putting up content. Everybody knows what's going on. It always looks great. It looks pro. Who does your artwork? Cause it's really cool.
Well, as far as social media, most of the stuff I do myself, just on an app,
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I just find cool stuff. I just manipulate stuff and just, that's how I do. Like, that's where a lot of the content comes from. And then I have an artist that does all of my album artwork, has done every record, and I grew up with him. Like, I think he's a genius. So
the artwork's amazing. So who is that? Who's that artist?
His name is Heath May. Mm-hmm. He does all the album artwork, and then like the artwork that you commented on maybe today. I'm telling you, I lost track of time here.
Yeah.
But the one with the goat on there and all that stuff, that's a guy out of Ireland. His name is Colin Bolger.
Okay.
And cool. his design company is called Debulga Design. And he did a piece for me on the last record with that goat. And I loved it so much, so I decided I wanted to do like a second piece with him. So, and that was just
great.
Like, that was like just
theme there. Yeah.
Yeah. Just kind of not like an Eddie or nothing, but just kind of something that continues this story. You know, I mean, I'm no fucking expert or nothing, but I just try to keep it interesting, and, you know, music's the most important part, I wish I could just play my songs and just move along, but it's just not the way it works. So
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, props to you, man, because you have kind of set that with your brand, and you get the beard and the way that's incorporated into the artwork and the wall. And I think that's really cool. And then the goat, the imagery, I think it's all really on brand with you and your style and everything. And I want to say that you and I met because now you're in Lubbock, right? Is that correct?
I'm Lubbock. I live in a small town called Plainview. It's close to Lubbock.
I know it well.
That's Vic's stomping ground, right?
Yeah, I used to live just down south in Abernathy, so.
No shit.
Yeah, that's where I come from.
That's fucking cool. Yeah, dude. Yeah. I'm gonna go through Abernathy all the time to go to Lubbock. I mean,
yeah, we were.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
I was telling Skunk, there's like just a huge talent pool in Lubbock as far as music goes. I mean, we're just. I think the city of Lubbock puts out like a yearly album or something like that showcases like local artists. That's pretty good.
Right.
It's really good, actually.
Yeah. It's always been cool, man. It's just cool people, down to earth people, you know, that like heavy music. So.
Yeah. The only time I've played up there was some country shows, but I mean, I know there's some rock clubs, and I mean, Vic had sent me a link to a playlist several months back that was really cool. It was a very eclectic mix of stuff, and it all sounded very pro and very cool. So and I've met so many people that have come out of South Plains College that are musicians that play all over Austin and have toured with all kinds of bands, and it's pretty cool, man. There's definitely a pool of some really great stuff that's come out of there and happening there still.
Yeah, definitely. It's a cool place. I mean, it gets dismissed a lot, you know, but I mean, we play there a lot just because it's close, and we help bands get shows and we play with them. And it's just there's nothing in between Albuquerque and Dallas or Albuquerque and, Austin or whatever. So it's a good spot to stop if you know about it or care, you know. I mean, it's usually worth it anyway.
So, like, what are some venues in Lubbock that you play? What are some good rock venues?
Well, mainly right now, most of them have closed because of COVID, but there's one called Jake's that we've always played at. It's been around for good 20 years at least. I've played there 100 times, you know. But it's just a cool place. The people are killer. Like the promoter that I've always dealt with in Lubbock, he's been promoting shows since I was in high school. And I mean, he booked my first show when I was 17 with Coal Chamber and shit. So,
wow.
I mean, so this is more of kind of like it's a pretty tight scene just because it's a smaller town. But I mean, it's cool. It's cool. I kind of enjoy being just kind of out here, you know, by myself. Sometimes, I mean, I feel like an outsider a lot, but I've been accepted in Austin really well. Especially San Antonio, you know, but I just kind of do my thing over here and kind of dip into the big cities and then dip back out, you know. Just
making desert rock in the desert.
That's right.
What about, we'll get to these cities and stuff, but what about the surrounding areas? Like, do you like Midland or Odessa or maybe San Angelo, I would think? Are those some places you hit up?
Definitely. Odessa, not so much. I mean, it kind of died down before COVID, but it's always been a pretty cool spot too. And San Angelo, they have a club called the Dead Horse.
Yeah, of course.
It's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, that's a great place.
I mean, I don't know much about San Angelo as a whole, but I love that place.
Yeah, that's where we all go.
Yeah. And I mean, I think the place is closed now, but there was a pretty good run for a couple of years in Big Spring.
Okay.
They were trying to get their downtown revitalized, and we played with Whores there. And I mean, it little bitty place, maybe 50 people.
Oh, wow.
But they just wanted it so bad, you know. So it's just crazy. Really, anywhere you go is good. It's just
It's really just a matter of having the venue, you know. And I mean, I think sometimes if you have a venue that's a really good venue and it brings in the bands and it promotes, that's the key, right? And once you get that demographic and they're aware of what's going on, I mean, a lot of these places, that's their only spot, man.
Well, that's going to be happening. Right. We played in San Antonio a couple of weeks ago with Thunder Horse and Foster Mother, you know, which are two pretty. One's an up and coming Texas band. The other one's a pretty well established Texas band. And then the promoter, Loy Smoke, all four of us pushed that show, did what you're supposed to do.
Sure. Yeah.
And then it was magical, man. So, you know, but most of the time it's me pushing it. Like, it's just it, but it is what it is. You know, like I said, I just do my thing. It's like, I'm going to do it. Like,
dude, I'm going to
keep it moving. Like, yeah, it is.
It's like you got to do it all. You got to be on your top of your social media. You got to be a promoter. You got to do all this shit, you know. I mean, what's cool though is like you've worked with a couple of different labels now, and so the labels, and do they help with booking, or when you, like, for instance, opening for Torche, or when you open for nationals, do those shows come through you? I mean, or is it a combination of stuff, or does management help out with that kind of stuff, or the label?
No, as far as like the previous label I was on, Argonauta, they're in Italy.
Oh, okay.
They helped with a lot of the PR, you know, press stuff like that. But as far as everything, I did everything else. I mean, like in late 2019, me and this band Thunder Chief went on tour for 3 weeks, and him and I booked it ourselves. I mean, I keep it. If I can do it, I'm going to do it. Yeah. I'm not gonna pay somebody to do it. Like not to boast or nothing, but I've never paid for PR or anything like that. I just haven't ever seen anything that somebody else can do that I can't do. It's just effort. That's really what it boils down to. Like, do you want to do it or not? Like,
yeah.
It's just like, I mean, I'm committed to this. Like, I'm going to go hard every day, all the time. Like, you see people fall away and stuff. I just feel like it's a marathon. Like,
yes,
this is my life. So, I mean, I'm just going to keep marching forward. Whatever happens here, there, yawn, you know? I mean,
yeah, that's awesome, man. I mean, and so you self-record and everything too, right? I mean, it looks like you got a whole gamut of stuff there in the room. I do. When I first started this project, I had some songs. I thought they were pretty good. And I was just really doing it for myself. I mean, like people say, but I thought the songs were pretty good. So I was like, hell, I'll just record some stuff, or maybe I'll just save some money and go to a studio. So I saved up like $3,000 and thought, well, I can learn how to do it. I'm just starting. It's not like I need a professional polished mix. I'm just trying to make a collection of songs. Not that big a deal. But then I got obsessed with that. And of course,
invested that $3,000 in a decent interface and some microphones, and I just went on YouTube. I read all I could, and like I said, it's just effort. Like, I wanted to do it, so I've done it, and I was almost going to get somebody to mix this record, but I've put in a lot of work. I feel like that. Well, I've put in a lot of work to learn how to get better at that kind of stuff. So I didn't really want to, let somebody else do it. I wanted to do it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think the more you're like, it's like, I like that. It's weird. Like, sometimes I like kind of having, well, I think it's always sometimes good to have an outside perspective, whether it's another band member, a producer, an engineer, like someone. It's nice to have a fresh set of ears, right?
It definitely is. And on that point, like, I mean, I have probably 5 people that will not bullshit me. If it sucks, if it's not good, they're going to tell me, so I have those 5 people that I can listen to, and I do get it mastered, by somewhere else, but I don't know. It's just like, I mean, I love it and I hate it. I don't know.
I know. Right. And I feel like that happens though. Like when you're that involved and you're recording, if I'm sort of self-recording and editing, and then it's like, it's hard when you go, I mean, if I'm working with like guys that are really good at mixing, I mean, they're obviously taking it to another level, but it's weird because you've done all this shit and you kind of know in your head what you want. Right.
Right.
So I get that you kind of go through the whole process on your own where, but other times it's like, okay, I'm just the guy, I'm just kind of recording my parts, and now someone else is gonna, like, I like doing other projects sometimes because it's like, and I can obsess, especially in this world of remote recording or whatever, and take your time at home and then be like, here's my shit. I've done what I do with it. And then fucking do your thing, you know?
And to be completely honest, a lot of it has to do with like, just feeling like I'm inadequate. Like that's one of the main reasons I didn't want to go to the studio in the first place. Just the imposter syndrome, that kind of shit, you know, just like, and that has something to do with it too. It's just comfortable for me. I can do it semi okay. I know it's not the best shit in the world yet, but I'm working towards that. Like, if I don't do it, how am I going to get better? Like,
yeah,
I think the first record sounds like shit. You know, I think the second record sounds a lot better than that. And I think this one sounds better than that. You know, I'm very proud of it. When I listen to it, do I cringe a little bit still? I mean, yes, but I put everything I had into it, and that's all I can do. So.
And you're pretty consistent here. So when did Redbeard Walls start? Because you've got an album out 2017, Redbeard Wall. You got an album out 2019, and then now you got this one coming out 2021.
Yeah. I started sometime in 2016.
Okay, so you were playing in other bands or projects before that?
When I was younger, in my into my late 20s, I played in different bands and stuff like that, and then some life things happened and just different things. So I was out of music for probably 10 years.
Wow.
I didn't pick up a guitar, really do anything other than just love listening to music and still being very involved in fandom and stuff like that. But
yeah.
No, it's just like when my life got straightened out and settled down and I started acting like a human being, you know, then I was able to, I'm not good at, I have to be able just to completely focus. I can't have any kind of worry or distractions
Please teach me the ways. You've got the beard too. Like you're like a wizard. I need to just like come out there to Lubbock and get away from all the bullshit.
Definitely.
Drop everything I'm doing. Yes. Be like, teach me to focus, God damn it.
Yeah. That's just one thing I can do. I mean, it's definitely one track. I'm not a multitasker.
Yeah.
I'm just a step by step, you know.
Yeah, props, man.
And that's my kind of, I wanted to mix it. I mean, I've taken every step to get to here. I might as well just finish it off, you know. No doubt. I mean, probably everybody else in the world that mixes could have made it better. I'm not saying that by any means, but
it is subjective too, because especially like, you know, like I've had this too with even friends or whatever. It doesn't matter. Like if someone's like, oh man, I want to produce this or that. And you're like, yeah, but stylistically, like that doesn't make sense. Like you need someone that gets what you're doing that gets the genre, the style, your vibe, that understands the band, right? And what they're trying to represent sonically, what your vision is. And I think if you don't have that, like, you know, you might have some production bells and whistles that you don't know yourself, but I mean, you can actually capture the overall sound that you're trying to represent through your music. And I think that's very important.
Definitely. And it's like, and it's all cool. Like all the stuff and recording stuff is cool, but like, you know, I'm having to do everything digitally just because I'm at home and all that stuff. And so I want people to hear me playing the drums. I want them to hear me playing the guitar, and I want them to hear me singing. Mm-hmm. And that's it. I'm not trying, you know, there's no bells and whistles or anything like that. I want to keep it as human as possible because I'm one guy. So I have to try to do stuff to make it sound like a band or sound like people, you know. Mm-hmm. That's always my focus. I don't really care how clean it is or any of that, because like it's the songs that matter. I mean, if the songs can translate through the speakers well enough, then that's good enough. Like I'm about the songs, you know.
Yeah, for sure. That's step one. I mean, if you don't have a good song, who gives a shit? Like
exactly
about all the other stuff, you know.
Exactly.
Hey, what are you using? What is gear wise? What do you record on? What system are you using? Some microphones, interface, that kind of stuff.
I used the PreSonus Studio 192.
Okay.
Which I bought it back when I started the band. I've been using it ever since. Like I'm kind of one of those too. Like I get nerdy about it and want to upgrade and stuff, but I'm not technical enough to. I get scared to upgrade because it's just more to learn or whatever. So I've just stuck with this. And on this record I added 8 more pre's, which is a Digimax 88 PreSonus. It's the add-on to this interface to make it simple. And I use Studio One because it came with the interface. I use Professional now. And, like I got this Neumann TLM 102. I use a shit ton of SM57s. SM57s all over the drums. I used Rode M5s for overheads on the drums, which they're like $200. You know, but like you said earlier, it's really about it's technique, it's placement. Like mics are better than others, but the difference is, you know, it can be a lot, but it's not a lot. You know, it's like it's kind of what I do. You know, if it sounds good there, then we're good to go, and I just keep it. Yeah. I trust my creativity. I trust my ear. I mean, maybe for good, you know, for better or for worse. I just trust it, and then it's worked out so far. So
yeah. So you said you had an 8, and what did you have 8 before? So you have like or more than that? You have I've got 16 ends.
I've got 16 ends. Yes. Yeah, so, mainly just to put more microphones on the drums this time.
Right.
But
okay.
it gave me more flexibility. I think I used 12 or 13 on the drums.
Okay.
You know, and
so if you're just dealing with 8, you're going to have your 2 overheads, a kick, a snare. I mean, maybe just one on each in your toms, and you're about at tapped, right? So
pretty much, yes.
But with this, I mean, I see some people that only use 1 snare mic. Some people use 2. Some people even use 3. I mean, of course, you got a hi-hat mic. And then, I mean, if you got more options, you can have a room mic, some distant stuff like
definitely. And that was the coolest thing, was to be able to have, you know, a room mic. I put a microphone in a bathroom around the corner.
I love doing that shit. Yeah.
And
it makes a huge difference,
right?
Man.
And just that, like, it's in my house. It's the microphone is where it is. Nowhere else in the world are those drums going to sound like that, except for here. So that makes it sound unique enough.
I agree.
I don't need to crazy process or do all this stuff. I just like that fact, like, it's the sound of my living room, you know. That's
especially
cool
with drums,
me, you know.
More than anything else, there's still an art, I think, that's important and I think viable even in today's music, right? Of getting a big, like, cool organic drum sound. A lot of other instruments, and vocals, you know, there's an organic quality, but like a lot of stuff, sure, you know, DI, and there's a billion Kempers and plugs and all this cool shit, right?
Right.
That's fine. But pushing air in a microphone, I like it too when you can do it. I've done it both ways, and honestly, I really do like just pushing that fucking slamming a mic, and it sounds huge, and you can hear it. You can hear the drums, you can hear the depth, you can hear the bigness of the guitar. So I say if you can do it, I like doing it. You know,
me too.
I've done it both ways now, and I do really like that. So, yeah, I think it's cool. And I also think it's contingent somewhat on the music, and stylistically with your type of music, I think that is still something that makes sense for the music. And I feel like the fans of the type of music you do want that. They're not looking for the pristine, you know, everything sound replaced and digital, this and that, pristine metal stuff, right? They want that big fucking organic sound.
Right. Yeah. And most definitely, like, I mean, like you're talking about with the air movement, like I can't play good. Like I have combo amps. I have little amps. Like I bought little amps. Well, so I can just play in the bedroom. But like once I got like the 100-watt tube amps, then I started playing 2 at a time. Then I started playing 3 at a time. Like I can't even like really even strap it on unless I just fucking crank it, you know? Yeah. It's because it's a physical, I mean, it's supposed to be a physical experience, you know?
Yeah. What do you how would you categorize like Redbeard Walls music stylistically? How do you sum it up?
I sum it up, man, that's a good question. I've been asked a lot. When I first started it, I kind of categorized it as sludge rock. But I don't know, it's just a little bit of everything, you know, everything heavy. I don't know if I don't consider it heavy metal. I don't consider it hard rock, really. It's just kind of somewhere there in between, you know?
Right, yeah.
Chino! My dog is unhappy.
locked out. You put him outside in the rainstorm.
I think my wife and my kids are outside, and he wants to be out there.
I'm making these like jokes about like, oh yeah, they're outside in the rain. It doesn't rain.
Yeah, right.
Lubbock. There's no fucking rain there.
He's feeling bad for him. It's all right. Yeah, it definitely doesn't rain here.
So when was your? Do you tend to tour when you put out a record, or like you were talking about a tour earlier?
Yeah, I play as much as I can, and you know, I do try to do touring. You know, it's pretty sparingly. Just I have a full-time job. I got a family. I'm not 25 anymore. You know, but yeah, I try to, you know, 2-week runs. You know, lots of Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday things. You know, but I just love getting out there and traveling and, you know, doing something different.
For sure.
That's just getting out to those little places like you're talking about, those venues, man. That's one of my favorite things. Like, it's always cool to have a lot of people there, whatever, but I just like the venues and like how some of the bathrooms are and shit, you know, just like that
like
kind of,
how would my microphones, how would my drums sound in here?
Yeah, right. A lot of that. Yeah.
All right, so when you said earlier you had played in San Antonio, I think recently even, like what venue was that? Do you have what are some San Antonio venues you dig?
High Tones. That's where we played a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, that's cool. And I guess we've played the Paper Tiger before, which is cool. But the best place is Faust Tavern. It's just where all the metalheads hang out.
Oh,
and
shit.
It's a little bitty place, but it just makes it so much better. Like when you're singing, I mean, people are right here in your face.
Where is that place?
It's downtown.
Is that under a new name by any chance?
No, it's been that way as long as I can remember. I mean,
'cause I did play one place down there on St. Mary's. It was called The Mix. That was similar.
Yes,
to that.
I've played there also.
Real close
it was
up, small.
Yes,
similar to the Mix.
This is like the Mix, a quarter size of the Mix.
Okay.
But it has like an outdoor place with picnic tables where the kind of people flow out of there.
Yeah.
But it's just there's just some places that kind of have that.
Makes me think of like, have you ever played Black Monk Tavern down in Corpus? That's a real small room, but a cool place.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Cool, man.
That's cool stuff. Just going around the country and just like seeing those places, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, some of those places, like, you know, my idols played there. I mean, it's just like that stuff's just cool to me. Just like, you know, how it smells and all that stuff.
I feel like, we were talking about this on the last podcast. So, you know, it's just little things like, there's someone now making, I don't know if we're going to have him on the podcast at some point maybe, but like making a documentary about the Back Room, you know, a real famous venue in Austin that had all these bands over the years, and Pantera and all these bands played there, right? In the 90s and all that. And then we were talking to our last guest about how they saw Black Label Society, you know, right when they started. I had seen them at the Whiskey in LA in 99 when they first put out their first record. And they saw them at night. I'm sure you played 19th Hole in Spring, Texas, Houston, right?
Yes, sir.
Seeing Black Label Society, you know, it's pretty cool, right? You see these bands that, like, that guy played with fucking Ozzy Osbourne, and he's playing this, you know, 19th Hole in Spring, Texas, in a shopping center.
Definitely.
So there is a lot of history in those kind of bars, for sure. Yeah, there definitely is, and I'm a sucker for all of that kind of stuff. Like, what's the farthest you've toured? Or have you ever gone outside of the country? Or have not gone outside of the country. No. Okay. Hopefully soon, but working towards it. But yeah, just probably Kingston, New York, upstate New York. Played Washington State. Close, just up there, close to Canada. Yeah. I guess that's as far. Cool, man. That's cool though. So that's the thing. Like where I live, everywhere I go is far. Yeah. I mean, it's a 6.5 hour drive to Austin, That's the thing. So. When you live in Texas, I mean, it's like, a 12-hour drive to go to, 2 states somewhere else, like whatever. Yeah. Take me that long to go to El Paso. Well, for us, but not hours. But yeah, for you, it's like, it's a 6-hour drive fucking anywhere anyway. Right. And like this, from where I'm at, the drive from here to Houston, that's the worst drive. Oh man. Yeah. I mean, I think it's like 9 hours. It's about 11, 10 and a half, 11. It's a haul, man. Yeah. I've woke up early in the morning, drove to Houston, played a show that night,
And that was the only show I've ever played where I literally thought I was going to die afterwards, just from driving all day. And then it was,
that's brutal.
It was in August.
Oh,
it was 100 and whatever and humid
brutal.
Yeah. I just like, I don't think I've been back to Houston since, which that was a couple of years ago anyway, but.
Yeah, and Houston's about as bad as it gets. I mean, anywhere
Houston,
on the Gulf, though, man, it's brutal because it's not only the heat; it's that sweltering heat and humidity, and it'll wear you down. I mean, it'll just
right, and like up here,
it
gets hot as hell, but it's a dry heat. You know, if the wind's blowing, sometimes it feels like you're in a furnace. But even when I go to Austin or Dallas, it's hard for me to handle. Man,
I agree. I'll take that dry heat any day, man. And
definitely.
At this moment, I'm be back in Austin soon, but I'm on the West Coast and just fucking loving it, man.
Nice.
Not cooking to death out here.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you know, and I can't wait to do a West Coast tour. I was, for the first time ever, going to be able to do one with a band called the Invincible Czars April 2020, because they do it every year, and I had joined up with them, and then of course, you know, everything shut down. So I'm hoping that happens next year. It looks like it might, you know, and things are coming back around. But yeah, I'm so excited to finally hit the West Coast. I've never played any of these places out here, man. You know?
No. The West Coast is sick too, man.
I played one place in San Francisco.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'm kind of partial to the East Coast. People like us there. I don't know why.
Well, I tell you what I love about the East Coast, man, is everything is right there. And you get up there and you got Baltimore and Philadelphia and New York and Boston, and it's fucking badass, man. That's what's so cool about it. You can hit all these badass major cities in all these different states, and it's the equivalent of playing around Texas.
Right. Yes. Yeah, it's cool.
It is fun to tour up there.
I just like it everywhere, man. Like I said, I mean, everywhere I've gone, especially with this band, I mean, it's been great. Like I haven't had any kind of issue. I guess I'm just lucky. I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop at some point, you know. It's been so good.
Well, you got any favorite venues around the country that you've played?
I guess the Lost Well in Austin is my favorite. And I mean, Faust Tavern, as I was talking about earlier. I mean, there's a lot. When we went on the last tour, there was just a ton. But like the Freetown Boom Boom Room in Lafayette, Louisiana. That's one of the cool things that I found. Like, a lot of the A markets, that's all cool, you know. But man, like the secondary markets or even the third markets, I mean, that's where it's like. People love it, you know, like Asheville, North Carolina is awesome.
Oh, I love it up there.
North Carolina in general. We played Asheville, Wilmington, and Raleigh, and all three of those were amazing. Louisville, Kentucky was great, but even like Nashville was great. Everywhere, it always works out. Everywhere I think that it's not going to be very good, it usually is, and then vice versa.
Where did you play in Nashville? Because by all accounts I hear of Nashville, it's just so hard. Like there's the kind of Music Row, which seems like, you know, the equivalent of maybe a 6th Street with more the country vibe, and then there's a lot of tribute bands and stuff, which is a big thing in Austin now, and I guess everywhere.
Yeah, now that
the rock scene, I don't know, you know.
Yeah, I can right off the top of my head, I can't remember. I'll have to look, but yeah, it's just a rock club. It's been there forever. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but it's like from what I understand, it's like the only one.
Yeah,
you know, but it's off of Music Row. It's kind of, you know, it's in a little of a rough area, but it was a really, really cool place. And then after that, you get to go downtown, you know. So
yeah.
All that's cool too. I'm not a huge country guy, but I mean, I love music history. I'm into all that shit. So it's just like we're talking about, like going to the places where, you know, Hank Williams stood, like that.
Right.
That shit's cool to me. I feel that, you know.
Yeah, dude. Absolutely, man. For sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Regardless of what's happening in certain places now, there's always a history, and you want to see that history preserved, man. Like going to Beale Street or seeing some of the iconic things in Memphis, right? And Music Row in Nashville.
Right. Like the Ryman Auditorium in Nashville. I mean, just to be able to stand there, and I didn't go inside or nothing. We just walked by it, you know, but just to stand there and just think, you know, about like what happened there, like how it's important to me. I think it's important, but how?
Well, it's important to everybody, whether you realize it or not, right? I mean, it's like it impacted everything that, branched into every genre. So it's like you can't have these things. You can't have what you have now without Hank Williams or the Beatles or Robert Johnson,
That's one of my things I do all the time. It's like, well, yeah, you can think that whatever Mastodon's better than Pantera or whatever, but there is no Mastodon without Pantera.
Right. Yeah.
You can't discount the legends just because it has progressed since then, Just like but the Beatles, some people are Beatles haters or whatever, and like, well, it's just, I want to hold your hand or whatever. It's like, well, you didn't write that.
Right. We've had this conversation.
You can say whatever the fuck you want, but
you're fucking wrong.
Exactly.
There's
exactly.
Oh man, I don't.
It's not necessarily about the technicality of it or what. It's. Did you do it?
Also, if you're citing like that one song, it's like, oh, by the way, the Beatles also have 200 other hit songs. So fuck off until you've listened to all those songs.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't get the Beatles haters.
We're music snobs, man.
I'm a music snob all the way, and I do not apologize for it.
I stand by you, brother.
Right on, man. Right on. Yeah, dude. Am I right about the Torche show? Sometimes I say things and then I'm like, fuck, was I right about that?
I believe that was it. Yes, I believe so. Yes.
And I don't remember a lot of specifics. I'll mention that band here in a sec. Something really cool about that night, but it was us and you guys and another band and then Torche. I think it was 4 on the bill, but I guess we just talked or whatever, man. Just, cool dude, And dude, one thing about you too, and who was it? Was it John Hall or somebody was randomly just, hey, do you know Redbeard Wall? And I was like, dude, yeah, those guys are on. It's so funny though, like how certain people that don't even live in Texas sometimes or like, know these bands. And it's, I think a lot, one thing I really like about you, I mean, obviously you do all this stuff in house and you're a hard worker and you're real passionate about it. But just like us talking here now, man, it's like the vibe is super cool and you're passionate and you're cool. It's like there's no arrogance and ego about it. And I think that's so cool. And I think that is something that I think, at least for me and guys like me, I think that is like an appeal of yourself and your band and all that too, just the way you present it all, you know what I mean? It seems real, and I think it makes it very authentic, which is really cool,
Well, thank you for saying that. Yeah. I mean, it's just like, I don't like any of that. Like, well, you're in a band, you stand up a little bit taller on a taller floor sometimes, like,
right.
But like I always tell people, and I do, it's always uncomfortable for me, and I don't get it that often, but like, oh, it's Redbeard or whatever like that. Like, I don't feel like that at all,
Yeah.
I just feel like we're friends. Like, you may work on wood. I mean, I play the guitar, it's just, we do different things, but there is no us if they're not there, vice versa. It's all together. We're just all people,
right?
Nobody's, we're all the same because it doesn't work unless we all do what we do, so I just don't, but like, I just am grateful to do it, man. This is what I've always wanted to do. It's successful or doing as good as I ever could imagine. So anything to me is gravy,
Right. Well, and it's clear. It's just talking to you and your attitude about these, I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, unfortunately, like I get real negative mindset sometime and I'm just like, what's the point or whatever. I'm sure we all, do it, but it's like, you don't really want to put that energy out there. And then when I really step back and look and I cite these examples all the time and talk about them, because when I think about even the shows that if I very easily could look at it as like, what a horrible, but I'm like, it wasn't though. Like maybe it was in certain aspects at the time of what I was going through and I lost money or whatever, but like in the grant, I'm like, but wow, I met this one person who became a great friend who led to this, who led to that, or I played at this place and met these great people who are now friends. And it never ceases to amaze me the way life is so connected. This guy who met that guy ends up, marrying this. I mean, we're all fucking connected so closely, man. And so I think
definitely.
As soon as you start like discounting anything and looking at it as like a lesser moment or something, it's like kind of a mistake, because like almost every single experience kind of has a point and leads and change is something, right? And
most definitely, man.
So it's kind of cool. And so I love that attitude, man, about that. And that's how rock and roll should be, you know, like getting together and experiencing these things.
Definitely.
Wherever the fuck it is.
And there's plenty of negative shit out there. Like, yeah, like, I mean, I feel negative sometimes. I'm not always happy or whatever, but if I just try to be positive, and that does affect other people. Mm-hmm. And if you're nice to other people, it makes it hard for them to be mean to you. So, you know, like, it's hard for people to be a dick to me because I treat people with kindness, and like, you know, even like if you don't like my music or whatever, like, that's cool. Like, everything is good. Like, we're all humans, man. And and I haven't always been like that, but I've almost like trained myself to be that way, and it's become who I am, you know, and that's why it comes across as authentic, because that's who I am now, you know, and I'm also proud of that. I'm proud of that. Cause like I said, I wasn't always like that, you know, so it's just, you know, growing, man, just trying to be just trying to be a better person. Like I just try, you know, that's what people need to do more of, is just try, you know. People accept failure if you try. If you're trying, people, you know, are accepting and stuff. But if you're, you know, that's it. Just try, you know? Yeah,
I agree. And I also think, man, that, I mean, you know, we have fun on this podcast, and I rant and I talk shit, and there are moments. Vic is the voice of reason on here that, you know, but it's like,
somebody's got to be Vic.
Yeah, someone's got to be Vic. I mean, I'm just a loose cannon, but like at my core, and I mean, you know, some people probably don't like me, whatever, but it's like, and I know I say things that have offended people, and it's more of like joking around on here, obviously, but like, I mean, I've rant sometimes about things I'm real passionate about, but like, I just, I don't understand, and I hope I'm not like this, and I really try to not be like this, because I don't know why it's like, I don't like hurting people's feelings. I don't like being mean to people, and some people seem like that's how they operate. It's like if they're not somehow dominating you in their mind, you know, or asserting themselves as the alpha, that it's, and you're just like, dude, fucking chill, you know?
People are just used to friction.
Yeah.
And that's so, like I said, like I kind of trained myself to be, you know, grateful and have a good attitude and all that. They thrive on drama. They thrive on friction and, you know, and all that. So it's hard to deal with.
It's like a,
is it cool if I put him outside right quick? Yeah. I'll be right. 2 seconds. Sorry.
Oh, no worries.
Yeah. Dude, speaking of what he just said, Vic, I think it's like, that's what I'm always like ranting about. I mean, it's our culture, right? Like, we're almost like bred to be at odds with each other and angry and on guard and ready to, to verbally assault each other.
It's like a competition all the time for some people. Right. And, you know, I always think of it this way, like working.
Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries. I always think about it this way, like working on yourself is way harder than just kind of giving in and going with the flow and doing what everybody else is doing, right? So if you have to work to be a nice person all the time, or if you have to work to be a better woodworker, work to be a better guitarist, you know, none of that stuff, I mean, you're not gifted with it right off the bat. You got to work at it. And so I think,
you don't have to work to be mean or be a troll.
Exactly. That's like, that's the easy way.
It's the lazy fucking option.
Yep, you're right.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, maybe I feel good. Y'all making me feel good.
Trying to spread some positivity.
That's right, man. Yeah.
But what's the, you know, because I'm been all about Jiu Jitsu lately, but, you know, Elio Gracie, he's like, there's no losing in Jiu Jitsu. There's only learning, right?
Right.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. It's just basically how you take it.
Yeah.
You can take it like, you know, and be down about it, or you can be like, all right, this happened. I don't want that to happen again. What do I need to do not to let that happen again? And let's do that, you know?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know? I guess easier said. I mean, I know it's hard.
It's hard. Yeah.
It's tough.
Everybody struggles, man. Like,
yeah. But first step is always just awareness, right?
Right.
And awareness and the desire to even try to be a better person and to try to, you know.
I'm huge on that. Just being aware, not just, you know, look around. Just what's behind you, what's beside you.
Right.
Like, you know, just kind of open up and just kind of see what's going on, and then self-awareness and, you know, self-responsibility and accountability. Like,
Yeah.
If everybody just took a little bit more time on that, like, it just seems like it would be a lot better.
Yeah, Vic's so right about putting it into yourself in the right way, right?
Right.
In a vanity
Correct.
way. But also, Vic, like what you just said about what Gracie was it?
Elio, Grandmaster Elio.
So he's who was before him? I'm sure he's probably passed on by now. But what was it? Was it Henzo Gracie? Maybe?
No. So Carlos Gracie was the first one that brought Jiu Jitsu to Brazil. Elio was the younger brother who developed it into more of a self-defense, kind of using leverage and not necessarily strength, but just leverage and patience, right? And just defense. And so he's the father of like Hoyce and Hickson and those guys, right? But that
what you said about the philosophy, which is absolutely 1,000% true, right? There's no losing, there's only learning.
Yeah,
it's really funny that we're talking about that right now because just last night we had watched some movie. What the hell? Oh, we watched The Campaign with Will Ferrell, which is hilarious. No, I went and watched that. We don't have that one yet. We watched the Campaign with Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis, which is great. And so then after that, right, the next one, like, there was just showing a list of like Will Ferrell, and so Talladega Nights was on. I was like, so I just put Talladega Nights on, and it's hilarious because it's the complete opposite, right? If you're not first, you're last.
Yes.
Like,
I wake up in the morning, I piss at excellence.
Yeah, but I think you need a little bit of both of those.
Quiet confidence, right? You
definitely, you still gotta have that fire, right?
You gotta believe in yourself. You gotta have confidence, but you don't have to be arrogant.
Definitely, it's just like I feel that way. Like, fuck the rest, man. This is about what I'm doing. No matter what, So you do kind of have to have that fighter attitude and just that fire, man. Like, fuck this. We're doing this. I don't care.
Yeah. This is a very inspirational podcast, man. I'm getting fucking pumped. I feel like, man, I want to go start taking jiu-jitsu and working on myself.
I'm running after this. I'm not, but
damn, this is amazing, Vic. We've made it like almost an hour and like no porn or shit stories.
No, gosh.
Aaron, it's all Aaron, man. Look at this positive energy. It's the beard, dude.
It's the beard.
It's just something that radiates from that beard.
Speaking of the beard, man, I really like the merch and the trucker hat with the glasses and the beard. It's just that.
Yes, yeah, that's the original logo. Yeah. The first time I saw that, I was like, oh, that's it.
Dude, it's so. You know what it just made me think of? It's like this, you said sledge rocker, but it's like this sort of like the stoner rock, desert rock, whatever version of ZZ Top or something.
Kind of, yes.
You know what I mean? It's just cool. I never even really thought of that before, but just the beard and the glasses, it's just a cool brand.
I've been asked if I'm Billy Gibbons' grandson more than once.
So yeah.
I'm always like, yeah, I am. Yes, I am.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I play the guitar like him as well. Yeah.
What do you, for some reason I'm thinking like a Gibson SG, but I don't know why. What do you play guitar?
I play an Explorer.
Oh, an Explorer. Okay.
The majority of the time.
But that's a Gibbons thing too, right? Didn't he play an Explorer some?
He did. Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, I've just always loved Explorers. They're just the most comfortable thing for me. I don't know why.
I've only played one, and is it heavy? I feel like I remember it being heavy, or am I totally wrong?
They're pretty heavy, but my baby, my prized guitar is a Les Paul traditional 2004. And that thing is so fucking heavy, man.
Oh yeah.
But it sounds beautiful. I used to play it live some, but it's just so beautiful. I mean, I love that guitar so much. It sounds so good. So I try not to, I bust it out every once in a while, but yeah, the Explorer is my workhorse.
Yeah.
It's just like I always say, is like, it plays like butter and sounds like war, So.
Yeah, nice. and then amp wise, Orange. I think you mentioned Orange amps. It might have been before we started, but what?
Yeah, I do different things, but I have an OR 100, which is my favorite, and then I have a Dual Dark 100, and then a Thunderverb 200, which I kind of use as a faux bass rig. It's really still, I run through 415s, so it gets a little more low end, but it's not like a bass tone or anything like that. And then recently, here in right before I started recording the record, I got a Blackhawk Odin 120. It's a guy, Brooks Blackhawk, out of Portland, Oregon. He hand makes them, and I've wanted one for a long time, but he makes them himself by himself. So there's over a 2-year wait. So I just moved on, and then one of my friends had this and was trying to downsize, and he hit me up. So I grabbed it, and it's the best amp I've ever played. It's hard to explain how gnarly it is, man.
Now, so when you're playing, you're a 2-piece, right? When you
yes,
and so you're covering that low end. How do you set up on stage in terms of your stereo and your low?
I usually just keep everything together right beside me or behind me.
Okay, and
like, I don't have anything
cabs?
on one. Right now I'm running 3 cabs with the because I have that 6x12 that I can split into 2 cabs essentially. But yeah, I mean when I can, I run 4 cabs and 4 amps, two regular orange 4x12s and the 3 oranges and the Blackhawk, and then 6x12 and a 4x15.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, I fucking come with the heat, man. That's like why? That's like this part of it. Like, I ain't fucking around here. Like, this is serious. This is serious business.
Like, look, that's super impressive. Like, just wall of fucking sound and mean rock and roll. But what's almost more impressive is that, like, you haul that shit around.
I knew you. I knew exactly
like
where
we were just talking about, like,
I knew where you were going.
Shit.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, fuck that. And you're like, do you have like you don't have a roadie, right?
But see, that's that bad attitude we were talking about. So the attitude I had, because I have that same attitude as you. But when you get back from tour, that's the strongest you ever are in your life.
Yeah.
You after lifting that stuff every night, multiple times for weeks on end or a month or whatever, like
you don't have to go to the gym.
You're strong. You're strong. Yeah. So that I look at it that way, but yeah,
that's a good spin
every time I downsize or something, I regret it every fucking time. I'm like, I should have, it's not that, it's heavy, but like, who cares? Like, it's worth it. Like when the floor starts to shake underneath you, then you're like, yeah, that's why I carried all this shit here.
This is like what we were talking about. It's all attitude, right? And like
it is,
and it's you being cool and positive and the right attitude. Rather, you could be a whiny little bitch. It's like, well, I don't have a roadie, and I'm not right. I deserve more.
Well, see, that's another thing I say. Like, that's when I know I've made it, is when somebody else is carrying my shit.
Yeah.
So,
dude,
that's
like,
the goal.
I haven't had that luxury often, and I've had a few, fortunate moments where, I got an opportunity, and like 2020 when I played the NAMM show at Gibson with this guy, with Bull Elos Buffaloes, right?
I saw. That's awesome, dude.
And it was just so cool, dude. There was this whole big this huge stage, big backstage, and it was like the only time in my life I like got to just walk up on stage and like pick my Les Paul of my choice,
right?
Strap it on, plug in, and go. Like, I didn't have to do anything, and it was like, man, this is fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Like, but you appreciate that shit when you've been hauling shit around forever, and you
definitely do
doing your own sound checks.
It's part of it's like that's what makes it real. Like, just that alone tells you how much somebody cares. Just lifting that shit. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous,
No, like, it's funny. Like, especially when someone's
and venues with stairs, man.
It must be so much fun touring. Well, yeah. It's also a lot of fucking work and not a lot of sleep. But dude, speaking of that, so like, and back to the East Coast, right? Like New York. Holy shit, man. Like, I think the most brutal gig I've had in terms of carrying stuff, and there was a couple on this Invincible Czars tour where I was playing keys, and I just straight up, now I got a cool Kurzweil and a big ass, but it's like the heaviest fucking thing I've ever had in my life, so I'm not really looking forward to touring with it. I got some wheels, a case with wheels, really, before we go on the road. But I had my old Casio with no case. Like we would just everything crammed in the back of this fucking van, you know, and then like my Casio was like literally on the floor, like in front of one of the backs, like, you know, it's just like, but I would
somebody
like,
was sitting on it.
And we had, yeah, I mean, feet on it. I mean, it was just so crammed, dude. But like and a lot of the gigs, some of them are really easy, nice load ins. And then some of them are just like, you got, yeah, like you said, stairs. And there's there's the Alamo Draft House. We were playing theaters and stuff because we're playing 2 like films. And,
cause you're Alamo,
a star. And yeah, well, I tell you what, it does feel pretty good when you play at an Alamo Draft House and you get a tab of like beer and food. It's pretty badass, I will say. It's one of the better gigs.
Right. Man, hell yeah.
Dude, the Brooklyn Alamo Draft House is insane. And they were warning me like the whole tour. And then like we get there and it's just like, you go up, it's like you got to go in this like, loading dock underground of however stories. And then you got to go up one elevator and then through all these corridors and up more. It's just fucking insane, dude. And you're just like, I mean, fortunately, like you're able to get like a dolly, but it's just so much like, it's crazy.
Yes. Dude. Yeah. Just a step a step here. Yeah.
4 fucking cabs, like for those kind of gigs. Or like you said, stairs. We played a place and, this other band, Dead or Politics, in Chicago called the Liars Club, right? And it was really bizarre, like, because you're basically almost like you're loading in through what felt like a fire escape, like this series of kind of stairs into the back that went onto the stage, was like wobbly boards on cinder block, like very, kind of, it was a cool place, but very kind of
sketchy,
ghetto-y. And it was like drizzling, and so we like pull back there, and then, there was no back. There was nowhere to put gear. So what they had you do is just line your gear up along the wall. And then when the bands would transition, one band would come out and you would carry your band. Well, it's like drizzle and shit. We got our like drums and everything's just fucking sitting out there. And then we're just having to go through, and it's just like, Jesus Christ, man.
Yes. I've had that exact experience.
And anyone who's done it knows,
Yeah. Yeah. Especially with like tube amps and stuff. I mean, it's,
dude.
Oh gosh. Yeah. But like carts, man, like I have a couple of just like little carts that, that have good wheels that can go through gravel and dirt and stuff. And I mean, those things, I love those things, I have like a passion, a love for those things. They've saved my life,
Oh, dude.
But yeah, you just start to figure things out. You just try to make it as easy as you possibly can, But like I said, it's worth it every single time. And when I don't, it's not worth it. So,
yeah.
That's enough.
When you get on stage and you feel it feels right, and you're like, okay,
Yes, definitely.
Well, yeah, dude. So, sorry, I already forgot. When you put this out in July, are you planning on kind of having some dates? I mean, it's kind of an odd time. Things are just now starting to open up, so it's probably kind of hard to book everywhere. It is,
but I'm still just kind of waiting and seeing what happens. We've got a killer festival in Austin at the end of June, and then we're playing San Angelo at the Dead Horse in July, and then I have an October show booked back in Austin. Just, whatever kind of comes up, if it's cool, I will. I'm just, just kind of seeing what happens. I know. I just don't think things are really going to be going as fast as maybe people think, but.
Well, I think what I'm seeing too is I think that they're starting to open up. Bands are starting to play live shows again. It's kind of exciting. And I think by the summer and the end of the summer, it's really going to start popping. And then next year, I hope we're kind of more or less back to normal.
That's what I was going. It's going to still keep ramping up, but like to get back to normal and like a tour, a tour, it takes a long, especially like if you do it DIY, like we do most of the time, it takes a lot of time and coordination and all that stuff. And I just got done making that record. Like, I pushed that thing to I got the masters back last Monday night and I had to have it turned in Tuesday morning.
Oh, Jesus.
And so, I've been shitting bricks and being anxious and stressed out for the last month, but everything worked out, Well, but I didn't even I listened to the masters like 2 times through, and I was like, fuck it, like just give it to the world, man.
Do you always use the same mastering engineer?
I do. Mammoth Sound Mastering. His name is Dan Randall.
Okay.
I just found him on the internet on the first record, and I like him, and he's been great. So I just go back to him. I trust him.
And now, are you doing, when you said you got him back, are you talking about off in terms of release? I mean, are you printing like CDs, vinyl? What are you doing with that?
All that. Yeah. We'll have the way we're doing it is we'll have 150 band edition vinyl, which is a color variant that I pick, and then there'll be 150 label version variant of whatever color that he picks, and then we'll have a bunch of black. And we're doing CDs as well. I'm gonna do CDs one more time, man. The first record, I mean, I have not a single copy. I think I sold about 2,000 of them.
Wow. And
the second record, I sold all the vinyl. We pressed it 3 times, sold out every time. And I've got a box of 1,000 CDs, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
it's coming back,
it's just the weirdest thing. Like, you know, and like in that, like you said, that was like a 2-year period, you know.
I got a stack of vinyl over there. I'm waiting for a stand for.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. Like the artwork is really cool. There's a really cool Easter egg in the front cover.
Nice.
That's cool, that I'm really proud of, and I think's sick. So just those little things, man. Just those little, you know, keep it cool, keep it interesting. You know, if you know, you know.
Are you not with the vinyl? Is that something that the label decides, or do you have a certain place that you go with, or how does that work?
No, the labels doing that, and that's like I've always been happy. I was happy with the label I was on previous, but it's kind of one of those things. Like I said, like, I mean, they're not doing more than I can do myself. Like my whole plan was just to put it out myself, and just, I mean, invest in the vinyl myself, and then if it sells well, then I make the money back, you know. But this Brad from Desert Records, we've been friends. He plays in a band called Red Mesa. They're out of Albuquerque.
Okay.
And we've played a couple of shows with them. I've become friends with him, and he really wanted to put this record out. And I know him, proximity, you know, like we think the same, like we were for the same thing. Like it just worked out for the best.
Is that like a one record deal? I think a lot of labels, any record, they do a one record deal. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every record I've done is just a one record deal. I was on the same label for 2 records, but it was just a one. Yeah. Just, you know, nothing fancy. Like on the previous record, I had to, you know, pay for half of the cost of the vinyl. On this, there's a possibility that I will, but with the way pre-orders go and stuff now, hopefully by the time the record actually comes out, we'll have enough in pre-orders to not have to pay for stuff ourselves. You know, he's a DIY guy. I'm a DIY guy. He's trying to grow his label. I'm trying to grow my band. Right. Why can't we do it together? You know?
Yeah.
Isn't it just simple? Just simple as that. It's just like easy. You know, he's close. I communicate with him all the time. I've talked to him before all this. You know, it's just it just felt right, and not a rebirth or anything, but just sometimes change is nice. You know, just to do something different.
Well, just kind of like the music itself, I feel like a lot of things in this business, well, as we know, a ton of things are just bullshit, and a lot of people are full of shit, but so many things happen organically, and you just meet somebody, you become friends, you play together, you have mutual respect, and that's how you end up trading shows. That's how you end up kind of maybe co-building a tour, getting on a tour, meeting someone who's all these things, like you're saying, and like almost everyone I've met and I've worked with in any capacity, or a good percentage of them, it's all personal relationships. You know,
definitely. Well, that's my live drummer now. I mean, that's how all that came to be, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, live drummer, he plays with me live. I play the drums on the records, but that's just been because of circumstance.
Yeah.
Not because I don't want a drummer. I want to keep this to myself. It's been nice, and I have all control. I can do whatever the hell I want to without anybody telling me.
No, I know.
But like you're saying, like the circumstance, like he was in a band that we played with. We became friends. I lost my last drummer. He asked me if I wanted him to drum with me, and it's been fucking great. You know, I think we're going to do big things together, you know.
Is this fairly recent, or was this?
Well, we've only played 2 shows together.
Oh, holy shit.
But we actually, we actually got together a year and a half, but right before COVID. We were going to play our first show on St. Patrick's Day of whatever year that to 2020. Right as it all started, because I actually went and got my U-Haul trailer on Friday evening, and I was going to take off on Saturday morning to Austin, and then I got an email Friday evening that they had canceled. I guess it was South by Southwest. You know, right in that time when right at the start of everything was shutting down, you know, and so we had worked on the set. I mean, we were ready, man, and we had to wait, you know, I guess 13 or 14 months before we ever got to play together live. So,
hey, you mentioned a festival that you're playing, I think in June in Austin, right? What is that?
It is the.
I think I saw a flyer for that recently.
Yeah. You're asking me all these questions.
No, but I think I know what you're talking about. I can't remember. But
I know it's June 26th at the Far Out Lounge. Yes, Duel. I mean,
Duel. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Duel, The Will.
Do you know those guys? Duel, Tom Frank. Do you go through him? Yeah.
I do.
I know Jeff Henson pretty well, and
yes, and he reached out to me to mix this record.
Jeff.
So if he, you know, if I wouldn't have done it, he would have been the one.
Want to do it. He's done a lot of stuff. I've known him for a long time.
He's cool, and
cool place out there now. Yeah.
When we were talking about Big Spring, that was the first time I met them. We played with Duel at Big Spring. So, but they're cool guys. They've always been supportive and cool, and
you
know, it's a good scene.
Yeah. I recognized a lot of the bands on that bill, and then I saw you guys on there as well. Who knows, man? I'm trying to put something together, and I'm actually working on one in San Antonio even now. But I started Skunk Fest a few years ago.
Yes,
and then that was supposed to happen last year, and then postpone. And now I'm in a situation where I started to say what I think is going to actually make things tricky for the next year is that you got on top of already, booking anyway, is like you've got all these postponed tours and all these postponed. So I'm actually seeing that a lot of people now are rescheduling tours that were supposed to be happening a year ago or whatever. And so these dates, there's a lot of fall over. And so it's kind of making, and I think it's going to make booking even trickier.
It's going to be weird. It's going to be weird. I've thought about that a lot. And I consider myself a professional musician, but also have a job and also know that there are bands that do that for a living.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how they get by. And so that's another reason. I mean, it's a smaller reason, but that's another reason why I'm just kind of trying to see what happens. 'Cause I don't want to be stepping on those, bands like that really need those shows. When it could be more just a fun thing for me on a weekend or what, things like that. But just, big pig, it's just going to be a weird thing.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be clamped. And with COVID happening and so many venues closing, it's going to be even more of a bottleneck. I mean,
yep.
So I'm just, I just kind of want to see what happens. But we've got offered some cool stuff. Like if I can get out and play here and there and safely, then it's cool,
Well, if I can make it happen, man, I mean, it's what I've done is one day was going to be 2 days, and now I'm even actually working on possible 3 days. We'll see. I mean, we'll see. But if it looks like it's a manageable fucking thing, man, I may hit you up, dude, because it would be awesome to have you guys play it if I can make it work.
Fuck yeah, dude, hit me up. We will be there, man.
Yeah, dude. We'll see. But
dude. Yeah, and always anything you need, I'm always here for.
Yeah, and I honestly, I've kind of been, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I just don't know how I'm going to feel about it yet. But whenever that time comes, we're talking kind of more of an August thing, right? And I've kind of had a lot of different projects I've been involved in, and things are starting to come out. And so I don't really know trying to figure out what's happening when, right? And then, I mean, but it would be really cool to play, hit up Dead Horse and then roll up to Lubbock, man. Cause I'm yet to have play like a rock show up there, and I keep hearing good things. So I would love to do something like that with you guys. That'd be killer, man.
Yeah, we could make that happen 100%.
Be awesome.
Definitely.
Cool, man. So this is the part in the podcast where we just ruin everything. And, Now, maybe we should just not. Maybe I should just let this be a professional podcast for once. This has been a really good, cordial, professional. It only took us like 53 episodes.
Hey.
Congratulations. You're the first one. First professional podcast we've had.
I'll be expecting my belt.
So we've got positivity out of the podcast. Skunk's going to do Jiu Jitsu.
Yeah.
Let's see. Aaron's going to go on a run. Not go on a run, right?
Yeah.
He's gonna run from his family when they come back in the house and be like, God damn it, dude.
No, they're very supportive, man. I love them so much. Like, I couldn't do any of this without my 3 ladies. So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, they're like I said, they're the reason. Like, they're the reason that I don't have to worry about nothing. They support everything I do, so I can focus completely on this. And I think that's a big part of why it makes it good. Makes it good.
When you say 3 ladies, do you actually mean humans? Because some people would refer to dogs as children. Is that a wife and 2 daughters?
I have a wife and 2 daughters. Yes,
okay.
Yes,
okay.
Yes. I had a dearly beloved Great Dane, Leviathan. He unfortunately passed away about 6 months ago. But I have his compatriot here that you heard earlier whining, which is a Chihuahua named Chino.
Oh God!
So
that's quite a fucking combo, man.
Yeah, it was, dude. It was That's
amazing,
time, man. It was a good time. Yeah. Yeah. And then like I'd tell people, like, I've got my 3 girls, and I used to be a square, with like hard edges and shit. And they make me a circle. They kind of round those edges, and they make me, I couldn't be this way without that tenderness and all that. You know what I mean? So
it kind of just bring like,
it does, man.
It's zen.
It does. They're my antidepressants. Basically.
It's like Vic with his CBD gummies or whatever.
Hey,
dude, I've been chomping those bitches out here, man.
Yeah, fuck yeah, Dave.
But I need to get some real shit. But then I wouldn't be able to function on the podcast. Just sit there salivating all stoned. I don't know how I admire people that can function stoned, man. Because I can like jam and be like, whatever, but I have a hard enough time like focusing as it is. Yeah. And for me, it's like, it's the
opposite for me. Like,
you're one of those guys that can
smoke.
Right?
I smoke a lot. Like I take a lot of THC gummies, but it helps. It's when growing up, it's all, getting high and all that shit, but it's just it is medicine. Like, it helps my mind.
No, some people are fully functional.
And it helps me focus. Like, I can, so.
I like the gummies for that reason, because it's a little bit of a slow burn.
Yes.
Kind of mellows me and relaxes me. But it's not like me just sort of going like, woo, you know what I mean? I feel like I'm a little more focused. So I've really started kind of getting into the edibles, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I have too. I've always been a smoker, but I love the edibles, man. And my wife got us one of those butter makers or oil infusers. So we make butter quite often, and then she'll buy some little gel capsules, put the butter in there, very meticulous, with the eyedropper. Put it in there, and like, man, just like in the morning,
y'all are like all Walter White about it.
Oh yeah. We got the beakers and all that stuff.
Got a Winnebago.
Yeah, just those just gives you that warm feeling, man. It helps,
Man, I might have to go to a dispensary here after this podcast. Now that we're
right.
You know what I'll do? You know what? I'm going to do Jiu Jitsu tomorrow. I'm going to start tomorrow. I'm going to go get a dispensary tonight.
There you go.
I like that idea. I'm down for that.
I got a great shirt that just says "Procrastinators Unite Tomorrow."
Yes,
that's a great shirt.
Yes, yeah, that is a great shirt. Right.
Problem is I procrastinated going to the gym so much that it doesn't fit me anymore. So
that's right. Well, that's the good thing about having a little studio. Is like, I can't go work out. I've got to go to the studio, so it's a good excuse as well.
Yeah, but then you go on the road with like 10 full stacks and you're fucking jacked. So you never have to worry about getting.
That's right. It's all about how you work it, man. It's all about how you
got the cycle down, man.
That's right. That's right. Hey, man, took a long time to figure out, but we're getting there.
Right on. This is where we need Jerry Springer, right? Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Yeah.
My final thoughts on how my show is going to be the beginning of the end for the United States of America.
That's a very true story.
Yeah, I can see that now.
How fucking ridiculous was that show? God damn.
Jesus Christ. Well, I mean, just look at your trajectory of, and I'm not saying like, I get it, like there has been progress, right? Like I'm not going to be one of these guys that's like, it was so much better in the 50s. No.
Yeah.
Like we really needed a civil rights movement 100 years after the Civil War and all this kind of stuff. And, you know, there's a lot more, acceptance and diversity and all these great,
definitely.
It's always, you're never going to, you know, we always need to move forward with that.
People are negative, so they think, oh, this is the worst time in the history of the world, you know. But then you watch those CNN documentaries or whatever, like the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and god damn, it was bad back then too.
Yeah, dude.
It's always been bad.
Always.
It's always been bad.
People, the world's crazy. I'm like, dude, the world has always been crazy.
Or the 80s, or the 70s, or now. It's just not good.
Well, you start to go like, God, man, and I feel like whenever you were a kid, you want to like believe that somehow that was the best time. And like, right. I feel like maybe everyone, like the boomers are just like, in my day, in the good old 50s. Well, who were you though? Right.
Right.
And like, it's, and, you know, for me, it's like, there's this feeling of like the 80s are pretty cool. And then the early 90s, undeniably from a music standpoint was pretty fucking amazing. Definitely. But then it was like, no, there was like AIDS, you know, it's just always something. There's always something horrible that's happening. But I mean, in comparison,
this was the coolest shit ever. Yeah. How about AIDS?
Right.
You know,
in a weird way, though, I do think from a war standpoint, I mean, there was some shit, you know, like I remember like Oliver North and the Iran Contra. I don't know, as a fucking kid, but like, you know, overall, though, it seems like you had the Cold War. Cold War seems kind of like not too bad compared to a lot of other shit we've experienced. What are your thoughts on that, Vic?
Well, the Cold War versus everything else.
Well, I mean, I don't know. You've read a bunch of Tom Clancy novels.
Philosophize, please.
Yeah. Well, Vic would know. Vic's read all the Tom Clancy novels. He would be able to answer these questions.
There's actually a new movie out on Amazon based on a Tom Clancy novel. Just came out today. I want to check that out afterwards.
What's it?
It's Without Remorse. Yeah. It's actually one of my favorite Clancy books. But anyway.
Hey, is there a new Jack Ryan again? Maybe I had a dream and I felt like I saw a preview.
Yeah, no,
it's a black dude. No,
that's the Tom. That's a Without Remorse. That's the John Clark character. The Jack Ryan is Jim from The Office. Oh, that's a series. Amazon series.
Dude, yeah, no, it's a series. But wasn't Ben Affleck Tom?
He was
Jack Ryan for a quick minute.
Yeah, and then Harrison Ford.
On Some of All Fears.
Yes.
Yeah. Harrison Ford was the best.
And then Alec Baldwin was the first one, right, on screen.
Yeah, and the only reason Alec Baldwin wasn't after Hunt for Red October was because he had a prior engagement, I think, and that's why Harrison Ford came in for Patriot Games, I think. And he was great, but he did a couple. But and then Ben Affleck, you're like, you know. But I don't know. I'm kind of stoked about what's his name, the Jim. We'll just call him Jim.
Jim.
Dude, ever since he did that Benghazi movie, man, and he got all jacked for it, I'm like, oh man, he's a legit actor. He's great.
John Krasinski's good. Yeah. Man. Yeah, he's good.
He auditioned for Captain America. He almost had that role.
Oh, I'm so glad he didn't. I don't want him to go down the superhero route.
Yeah.
Aaron, are you a superhero movie guy? I don't know why, but I feel like you are with the beard. I don't know. Am I wrong?
I'm not, okay, man. Good. I'm a documentary guy.
Documentaries are good.
Through and through. Yeah. Like I'm a huge movie guy, but for some reason I've kind of fallen out of movies, but yeah, I'm a huge documentary guy. Like if it's not a documentary, I have.
What are some good documentaries so I can waste more time? Not waste. At least if you're watching a documentary, you're learning.
You know one that I like that I watched on the plane is called Loopers, and it's narrated by Bill Murray, and it talks about the history of caddies, golf caddies.
That's a good one. That's a
golf
good
caddies.
One. Yeah.
And then he goes into the history of Augusta. What is it, Augusta? The
where the Masters, Augusta, Georgia.
Yep, Georgia.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And
have you seen the ZZ Top documentary, the Netflix one?
Man, I still haven't watched that. Shame on me.
Oh my god, dude. Yeah, that's the only one I'm going to tell you. You watch that, and then I'll tell you about some more.
Okay, yes, sir.
I watched the Bob Dylan documentary, the Scorsese documentary, No Direction Home, which I've seen it a bunch of times, but that's the best documentary of all time. It's 4.5 hours long, but it's worth it. There's a Tom Petty, a newer Tom Petty documentary.
Oh yeah.
I believe it may have been Netflix also, and it's a long. I could sit there and watch that shit for 8 or 10 hours. But like the Ken Burns country documentary.
Dude, everything Ken Burns does is gold, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen the country one. There's a bunch of jazz episodes.
The jazz one's amazing.
They're so good.
The baseball one's amazing.
The baseball one's great.
The new Ernest Hemingway's the new one.
Oh,
and I
haven't seen that.
Check that one out. It's fucking amazing.
I think,
the baseball one, did they go, is it a whole history of baseball? Or
it is. Yeah. From the start, I think it goes up to like right after the steroid.
That's what I saw. I think that's what I saw when they were talking about Mark McGuire.
Yes.
And
Sosa.
breaking,
Sammy Sosa, and all that.
Yeah. So whose record was that? Roger Maris, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. That whole thing. They kind of marred. I remember that, right? We all lived through that. It kind of marred the game a bit.
Right. Speaking of golf, that the HBO Tiger Woods documentary.
Oh yeah.
Fucking good. Yeah.
Check that one out.
All the HBO stuff lately, I can't think of all of them off the top of my head, but there's been quite a few good HBO documentaries. The one with Patton Oswalt, the comedian, his wife was a crime writer, and there's a documentary about she passed away, but there's a documentary about a case that she wrote about and all this stuff, and it's a really, really good one.
Don't get skunk started on those crime documentaries.
Oh God, I'm good.
I'm a dummies.
I'm a Dateline freak. I'm a 2020 dude. I'm all of that shit.
Hold on. My fiance is speaking of a Dateline freak. She just got so excited. She loves. By the way, here's what I've learned from Dateline. It's always the husband.
It's always it's always the husband, and it's always about life insurance.
It's always the husband. It's always about life insurance. Yeah. Yep. She says checks out. Yes.
Yes.
I started ranting on the last podcast just a little. I'm not going to go off on this. I'm not like it's going to go, anti, massacre or something. But like, dude, Unsolved Mysteries. Remember Unsolved Mysteries?
Mm-hmm.
Great show. And I know when I was a kid, like this like the coolest, like scariest music, and Robert Stack comes in.
Yes.
Unsolved Mysteries. And it was just like terrifying. And so we just started like watching some Unsolved Mysteries again the other day. And I was like, I didn't have that same effect. I mean, it's still like the excitement of the. I've seen some of the new ones that are okay.
Yeah.
But like watching the old ones again, and granted, this is only like a handful in one season or whatever. And it just so happened that there was a series of them where every time it was like the sloppiest, worst police work, like 3 in a row, where like a guy. I'm not making any of this up either. Like one of them was like a guy who was happily married, and I know that that's not always the thing, but and he goes to the store for yogurt. Someone finds his car with the gas nozzle in the car, and then he's 100 yards away in a field, laying face dead over a rock with a gunshot to the back of the head. And the police are like, "Looks like a suicide, does it? Does that look like a suicide? Like, I'm gonna go fill my car with gas and then go shoot myself in the middle of a field. Like, that makes no sense." There was another one where and there was another weird suicide, obviously not a suicide. And there was another one where this guy, I've never seen anything more definitive in terms of everything this guy did said, "I killed my wife."
Yeah.
And it was just like, police think it's a suicide.
I don't see it.
He so he does this thing where he makes up this story that he went to do whatever. And then he got home and his wife was gone, and it was a note. That she left a note I've met someone named Sarah.
Yes.
And so she runs away with her lesbian lover out of nowhere and blah, blah, blah. Doesn't tell anybody because he was embarrassed. So he doesn't tell. And then a week later, the family calls and "Hey, and he's like, "Oh yeah, she left with a woman." They're like, "That sounds a little strange." And the dad, they keep and so then they find out this is how fucking stupid this is. This guy, the dad's like, "Fax me that letter." He faxes the letter, and he's typed up this letter and then signed her name and didn't even bother to try to emulate her signature. It doesn't look anything like the same signature. So it's obviously this fake letter. And so they start getting on to him. And then he's like, "Well, yeah, so I did type up the letter because, I knew she was going to, I don't even know what his excuse was. And so then he backtracks on his whole story and talks about how they had a fight and he came back and the house was in disarray. All this like stuff that's like so obvious, like you lied and now you're lying even more and you killed your wife. And they're like, well, we don't have enough evidence. And meanwhile, people are in life prison for like having an ounce of weed or some shit in the 1990s or what, right? Like, it's just insane. I know I'm ranting, Vic. No, I'm ranting, but it's true. It's like
it definitely is.
Really fucked up.
I think I know the story you're talking about as well.
Well, and then it's like 20 years later. It's like update. He did it. It's like they find out like they found some evidence.
Shit, Sherlock, right?
But
thanks,
this fucking guy, but this guy got to live out his life. He died of cancer.
Right.
But he still
married somebody else, had kids with somebody else.
Exactly. Married someone else, did the whole fucking thing, lived 15 more years or whatever after he kills his wife. Like, that's insane,
Right.
Dude, I'm just going to say it. Thank God that dude got convicted, right? Chauvin.
Oh,
the country would have burned down. The country would have burned to the fucking ground if that guy not gotten convicted.
But the fucked up thing was I wasn't sure which way it was going to go, man.
I know. It was
something as obvious as that. We still have doubts whether they're going to be convicted or not.
Yeah, no,
it's kind of fucked up.
Disconcerting. I mean, I feel like I actually saw some of that trial, and it's funny watching the defense go, so, is it true that you could have your neck, your knee here, but move it a little bit, and then it wouldn't quite be on the neck? And it's like, yeah, but you're still like kneeling on a dude who's like dying. Like, is it really necessary? Like,
yeah, just like it was a heart condition. It was because he was on drugs. It was because of
all those are factors.
It was because he was by the, yeah, but the biggest factor was there was somebody on his fucking neck.
Here's my thought too, right? Like, I mean, I know I'd be crucified for saying this, but I'll say it. Like, look, I know a lot of people like love the guy and he had a lot of love and he's from Houston. I know like there's a lot of, so I don't want to shit on the dude, right? But he had a criminal record, right?
Sure.
I mean, it didn't look like the guy was a saint or anything like that, right? Having said that, he wasn't committing any sort of heinous crime in the moment, right? It was a petty crime. He was freaking out. He wasn't getting the. Hey, I understand. Call the cops. It's their job, but it's also their job to protect and serve, and not fucking like kneel on someone's neck, like you've already got the guy restrained. He's on the ground, and then he's saying, "I can't breathe," and the guy Chauvin, who's now actually, did you hear about like they're thinking about pressing charges or taking him? There's some other charge about a 17-year-old kid that he nailed on the neck of for fucking 20 goddamn minutes or something once upon a time. Yeah. So this guy had a history of this shit.
But it's like, it just goes back to it's at some point in time shifted from the guardian mentality to the warrior mentality.
Right.
And that's just a huge problem is we're almost their enemies. They're almost out to get us rather than to protect us. They're trying to catch us doing something.
Yeah. So true, man.
I always feel like it should be.
And it's not all. I don't think it's all. It's not all. They should be like the ones firemen. That are ruin it. Yeah.
They should be like firemen. They should be at a centralized location, and when they're needed, they can go take care of the problem. But like you said about that story, like I watch Dateline all the time. I'm always like, these cops are dumb. Like it's just like it's some. Like do your job well. And do it or don't. Like, I don't like to profile one way or the other because definitely.
The responsible way to be as a human being, as an intelligent species, is to not do that, right? Whether it's based on race or anything. Because I've been in situations as a white guy, and like I haven't been thrown out of my car and had the shit beaten out of me, but I've been in situations where I was totally treated unfairly because I had long hair and some yeehaw fucking, shit kicker from College Station wanted to get his rocks off fucking with me. And, and I've also been in a situation where I totally fucked up, could have gone to jail, and a cop was super fucking cool.
Definitely.
And let me go, So, I mean, it's like there's good and there's bad everywhere, right? But I mean, when you look at that particular set of circumstances, it's kind of hard to be like, yeah, that's justified. I mean, Vic, I don't even know if you want to chime in on this shit, but
I don't know.
Definitely, but I mean, I'm not a death penalty guy. Like, I just don't feel like somebody else has the right to kill somebody else, no matter what. I know there's murderers; they should be punished. But it's not okay to kill other people, black, white, brown, whatever. Just stop killing people. Especially on video, Like to me, that's like a bravado thing. Like it's gone too far. Like,
yeah,
it's always been bad. And I'm with you. I think we are making progress, but it ain't no speedboat, man. It's an ocean liner. You know, it's going to take a while, but I hope, and I feel like that something did change, like that there was a change, like people's mentality have kind of waken up. But I mean, is that going to go? It's just, we can't go back to the status quo no matter what.
Blow over, right?
Right. And it's not just about, you know, the cops, you know, they're the foot soldiers of the government. It's the whole system. Mm-hmm. It's not something that can be, this is just my opinion, but it's not something that can be overhauled. It's broken.
Right.
It needs to, and I don't know, I ain't no expert. I don't know how that could happen, but it can't just be just like small reform. Those are just like little nuggets that they get people so they'll be quiet.
Exactly.
People just can't be quiet anymore. Like, whatever you believe, we're all people, like, and they want us divided. They want us divided by color. They want us divided by the kind of music we listen to. All that's bullshit. It's all a way to keep us apart and fighting with each other so they can do fucking nefarious shit behind our backs. Mm-hmm. You know, they pass laws all the time while we're worried about this and that and this and our taxes and all this stuff. Like, you know, it's all together, and that's one of the bad parts about it is just the police brutality, you know. And like you were talking about, I've had the same situations as you, man. I've had a gun pulled on me by a cop or whatever, but I was never like necessarily up until they had a gun on me. I was never in fear for my life. Like with the George Floyd video specifically, like if you watch that video, as soon as he saw them knock on that window, like it felt to me like he was in fear for his life, you know, and I know that's some of that probably has to do with his criminal history and stuff, but man, that's not right. That's not right to just fear for your life in a normal circumstance like that. I mean, whether whatever you're doing, like $20 bill or whatever, like,
well, I think there's a huge difference though. There's a huge difference, you know, because a $20 bill, counterfeit bill, criminal history or not, like I want to be fair, right? Because that's what we're dealing with that moment, right?
Sure.
If that guy has been tried by a jury or he's done his time, as a police officer, it's your job not to judge, but to deal with that situation in the moment in a professional manner and make sure that nobody is harmed, right? That's your number one priority, to protect and serve, right? So based on those circumstances in that instance, regardless of what his prior history was, and maybe whether he has a criminal history or not, and he's a black male and experience and all this kind of stuff, maybe that is a trigger point and all that. But like the bottom line is, no matter what happened, and I get if a guy is struggling and resisting, which he was, you gotta deal with that. You gotta restrain him, but you don't. Once he's restrained and under control, you don't kneel on the fucking guy's neck for 9 minutes. Like that's that's the thing right there. It's
with people telling you, telling you that he's
and not, filming. Like, and what kind of sadistic fucking person does that?
Right,
I don't even understand.
It goes back to like
possibly
the cop. You know, they always say, "Oh, well, there's a couple bad apples," but that. You know, like one bad apple spoils the bunch. That's what the actual saying.
Of course.
Like,
and that's the problem. Like, I feel sorry for all the good cops out there who got spit on and harassed because of this one piece of shit. Sure. And it's not just him, but he was the catalyst for this huge explosion. And but good people got fucked with because of it.
In a simpler way, just in that incident as well, as like there was 4 police and one man.
Right.
You should be if there's 4 grown ass men and they can't restrain and get a one man in a car, then you're not fucking doing your job right. You know what I mean? It's but like I said, it's so complex. There's so many levels to it, and it's fucked up, man. It's fucked up. I just and all I can do is do better myself.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a preacher or any of that. Like, I can treat people better And that's enough. Like, if you treat people better, that's enough.
Well, because if everybody does that, it's like what you said.
Exactly.
If everybody can, this is what bothers me the most, right? Because if everyone can just have the wherewithal for the realization that whether we like it or not, there is, and it's a cliche thing, but it's a real thing. There's always some sort of Orwellian thing happening where we are.
It's fear. They
meant to be at odds together for the.
They feed us fear, and we eat it like fucking macaroni and cheese.
Yeah, and someone else is benefiting from it, whether monetarily or gaining power, whatever the case may be. And so if you could just look at your average other person and say, we're equals, and we need to fight against whatever that thing is that's trying to divide us and not fight each other. Like, I think that's step one, at least that conscious effort.
Right. But
to
that point, like, and going back to touring, like, you go everywhere in the country. People live in different places. They do different things. They have different cultures, even though we're all American,
right?
And all that stuff. And I never meet a fucking asshole.
Yeah,
I never meet an asshole. I know they're out there, but they tell us that there's way more assholes than there are. Because
it's really rare.
I don't experience that very much. I know music is a different thing, and people most of the time are cooler and more open to things and more aware, or whatever. But it's just, it's a weird deal, but like, just you yourself, just try to do better. Just do better, just do better. That's it. It's not, you don't have to make giant fucking leaps, but just do better. Like, if you fuck up, say you're sorry, don't do it again. It all really boils down to simple stuff. And we just want to convolute it into complex things. And I know it sounds stupid and cliche, like you said, but just be good to each other. Like, if you're good to somebody else, they're going to have a really fucking hard time not being good to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Back what I said earlier too about the way you approach somebody. And I feel like some people, whether it's the worst kind of person to have doing that is a cop, right? Or someone with power and control and a weapon. And someone like that goes into a situation expecting or desiring confrontation
to escalate.
That is a huge problem, right?
Right.
And so for all of us, but especially those guys, it's like, no, man, that's not how you should go into anything, anytime you can help it, right? Unless it's an absolute must. And then it's like defense, right? Defense is a totally different thing. But when you're going into a situation in a hostile manner, it's never going to end well.
It's never going to end well. I mean, violence has never worked. I know it is the way we operate, and money is blood and blood is money, but like, I know, and we're in that system and we don't have a fucking choice. Like, I have to go to work every day because we're, not slaves. Like, the black people were slaves, but they pay us just enough where we have to come back every fucking day. So I mean, it's still a form of like, we've got to wake up and, do it for ourselves, like, and stop bullshitting about everything, like they're supposed to work for us. They never fucking have,
Right.
You can go to like a congressman's website and it'll show you who his biggest donors are. That's who they're beholden to, Mm-hmm. So it all goes back to that. They do not give a fuck about us, They don't give a fuck about the black people more than anybody, the Native American. I mean,
you can't
even get fucking started on the Native Americans.
Jesus
like
Christ.
Jesus
it's
fucking
all about,
Christ. Like,
it's all about let's pander to somebody so that we can get their votes. That is how
it's all,
I don't
all about that.
Like
and
most people give a rat's ass about.
And then
they,
like you said, they
trying to sell shit too.
They feed the fear. They tell us all the bad shit that may happen that never does, and people just like I said, they have to go to work every day. They have to pay their bills. They're worried about other shit rather than what Trump or Biden are doing. It's hard to have time to worry about that. And then you've got snakes up there,
all the grifters,
sucking everything from us. It's, it should be all of us it should be all of us together. Like, we're all together. And if we're all together, then we can do something fucking different. But until then, it's going to be the same, man. And
John Lennon tried.
Like, well, that's the thing too. Like, they'll kill you for it. Like, if you want to talk shit, they will kill you for it. So
I bet the FBI has been.
And so people don't talk shit.
Dirty shit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Vic,
fucked. It's
Vic,
fucked.
I know.
Positivity over.
Yeah, I ruined everything. I made a Jerry Springer reference. See what happens when you bring up the devil's name?
Yeah, that's right.
Vic,
that's
why
right.
don't you leave? But then now that Aaron and I have gone off on a half an hour for all this shit, why don't you leave us with your final thought?
Well, like I heard somebody else say, make your world small, work on yourself, right? Other people's problems are not yours to solve, only your problems, right? So you improve yourself, you set an example to others. So when people notice that, they're like, hey, how are you so successful? How are you so calm? How are you so, whatever? And you just tell them like, well, I just work on myself, right? I'm kind to others. I'm nice to others. I'm respectful. And you go on your way, right? That's how you make improvements. That's how, that's how you do it. You don't look for representation in the movies. All that's pandering, right? Representation is, the people around you. You have mentors, and it doesn't matter what color they are, what gender they are. That's your small world there. And, you try to emulate that, the good parts. Don't be a victim. That's the easy way. That's the lazy way. Quit blaming everybody else for your problems. The best, going back to movies, my favorite line in a movie was in Rocky Balboa when his kid was complaining about, his dad going and fighting, Rocky going back to fight, and, and he thought he was embarrassed because everybody was talking shit. And, he told his kid, he's like, somewhere along the line you changed, you started blaming others for all your problems. He goes, nothing's going to hit you as hard as life. It's going to knock you down no matter how tough you are. He goes, but you get up, you move forward, because that's what winning is. That's how winning is done. Losers complain, so that's kind of my take on everything, right? Don't fall for the pandering. The politicians aren't there. They aren't your friends. They just want to stay in power, right? And Aaron, you're right, man. I've traveled all over the place, and everybody I've met's nice. There's an asshole every now and then. It's usually dealing with insecurity or something along those lines, but that's them. So I don't know. That's kind of my thought on everything. Don't be a victim. Don't be too judgmental. That's another thing, right? You see the media hyping up all these incidents with police. Man, they're showing you a picture, just a moment in time. They're not showing you the entire context, right? So they're not showing somebody having a gun and then dropping it and then somebody having to decide a split second what to do. I mean, unless you've been in that situation, just kind of, just keep that in mind. There's an entire context, not just that moment in time. So I don't know. It's kind of the way I think of things. But yeah, make your world small, improve yourself, work on yourself, do better, be better than you were yesterday. And that's going to influence the people around you. That's kind of the way I think of things.
That was fucking, right. That was fucking beautiful, dude.
See how epic it is?
I was sitting here, I was like, man, am I in church?
Oh, I know, dude.
This was beautiful. That was beautiful, man, for real. That was awesome.
That's what Vic does, man. He brings it.
Yeah, dude. He summed it up. You and I rambled for 45 minutes.
Exactly.
He kind of summed it up all.
I will.
Nice. Yeah, that was great.
That's why he's
going to
say
has
the best podcast voice.
I don't like the new Unsolved Mysteries because I miss Robert Stack's voice. Right.
I know.
I do too.
I agree.
I was going to say the same thing. The new one's okay. It's all right. But it's
something I had forgotten too about the old ones is there's several stories in an episode. Like the new ones are just I had forgot that there's it's several.
Right. Like 8 minutes apiece and shit.
Yeah. And well said, Vic. I think that's a great way to wrap up. Aaron Wall.
I agree.
People can find Redbeard Wall. I mean, across the board. Is it a .com? Is that your website?
Yeah, I have redbeardwall.com. I have I do most of my operating on the Bandcamp.
Sure.
Redbeardwall.bandcamp.com, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, everywhere. Yeah,
all the stuff.
I make it. I make myself easy to find.
Yeah, right on, man. Well, I encourage people to check you out. Awesome dude, man. I'm so glad to have met you that time, and I hope to play. I know we'll play again in the future, man. I look
Definitely,
forward to that
dude.
day. And thanks so much for coming on the podcast. Congrats with your success and continued success. I can't wait for the new album in July, man. And this thing will actually air before then, I'm fairly confident. So that's cool.
That'll be cool, man. Hell yeah. Dude, thank y'all so much for having me, man. It's an honor. And Skunk, I love you, man. I know we've only met once, but I feel like we're brothers. We've stayed in contact that whole time, man. Vic, thank you. It's an honor, man. I had a great time. Y'all have brightened my day, no doubt. So thank you, man. Hell yeah.
Likewise. Hang tight for a sec. We're going to make sure this uploads. Aaron Wall, everybody. Once again, Skunk Manhattan, Victor Ramos here. Keeping it real on Eclectic Soundtrax. Until next time, take care of yourselves.
It's mental too.